What all my frustration comes down to is that I know, like many others, that they can do so much better. So much better. Blizzard themselves know that they can do better. They knew this back in 2005, for fuck's sake. Go watch some of the old design philosophy panels from the early BlizzCons, and you'll see what I mean.
We also have to give players something to aspire to. There's a lot to be said for that moment when you're sitting in Orgrimmar as a newbie and somebody runs through in like all raid gear and you're like, wow, that guy must be so powerful. Or eBay or something.
And it's not that they can't. They do not want to. At least not the leadership. I think placing the blame on individual developers is a bit off, as they do not really have any say on the direction of the game. But the leadership and heads of development, on the other hand, they're fair game.
So what are the features of BFA? Alright, so Warfronts are dysfunctional. Azerite gear is broken. What are the other things? War mode also doesn't necessarily work. Islands have been fixed like 3 or 4 times. Expeditions are dysfunctional with drops. That's very true. Mythic Plus doesn't work properly, I'm pretty sure.
What do you lose here, man? You're not going to BlizzCon. You're definitely not going to get invited back to BlizzCon. Yes. Yes, dude. Go big dick on him, dude.
If they say that they read the forums and they care about what's said on the forums, but they deleted the alpha and the beta forums for Battle for Azeroth, that means they didn't care about the feedback. And that's a way for them to say, well, it wasn't on the forums anymore, so we don't care about it anymore. So let's look at the forums. I quit. No LGBT representation in WoW. I quit. The French of Azeroth. State of... Oh, this is about me. Vanilla will succeed. RNG rewards the worst players. Kicked from LFR because tanks pulled.
Hey, get a load of this. Blizzard are surveying World of Warcraft players that have quit the game and dropped their subscriptions after playing the Battle for Azeroth expansion. Some examples of these questions includes, would you say the BFA expansion made WoW better or worse? And how likely or unlikely are you to play WoW in the next 30 days? How satisfied or dissatisfied are you with the BFA expansion? And my favorite, which best describes why you are not playing BFA, and it comes with a long list of issues provided that Blizzard are publicly acknowledging, and it's all here. Look, bugs, problems with the Azerite system, class balance, shitty RNG, and these are just the ones that they have talked about in the FAQ videos. But in other survey questions, they do give you the opportunity to write and provide your own feedback about BFA.
The whole gameplay loop of an MMO is based around working to gear and progress your character, and a great MMO like WoW gives you multiple engaging ways to do that. But Legion saw them take a little bit of a misstep here in a couple of very obvious ways. Legendaries were a really interesting idea, but ultimately failed with the player base, because in a game where you work to gear and progress your character, suddenly you had all the most powerful items in the game dropping randomly from random sources at random times. There's no doubt that there's something rather unsatisfying about that, really. Likewise with the Netherlight Crucible, something that should have made artifact relics more desirable and engaging, actually managed to kill the excitement of a loot drop by having the traits they awarded not only random, but impossible to know until you left the instance and took them back to the Vindicar. And this is the first lesson that we need Blizzard to learn here. Regular and substantial content updates aren't just a choice, they are a non-negotiable demand, and Battle for Azeroth's success or failure will have a lot to do with how ably Blizzard managed to fill that demand. The fact is that now, a release schedule slower or less chock full of content than it was in Legion is going to be seen as a failure on BFA's part. Blizzard need to show us that the huge array of updates we got last time out wasn't a fluke or a one-off to make up for Warlords, but a new standard that they've set themselves and that they are planning to meet. And if they do, then Battle for Azeroth will already have a massive helping hand on its way to being a great expansion. And is it a lesson that Blizzard look like learning? Well,
A little bit passionate about World of Warcraft's most recent casino shitshow excuse of an expansion and the terrible state of the game that is Cosmetics of Mountcraft. BFA was shit at launch, and 8.1 has done nothing, absolutely nothing, to address the core problems with the game. And instead of content, what does Blizzard give the players? another fucking store mount, with a unique model that they clearly spent some time on. I personally think the mount looks ridiculous and not at all like it belongs in World of Warcraft, more like something they kidnapped from some Japanese anime.
Right now, we don't seem to be in a very good spot. I really think this expansion is at a crossroads, or we'll get to that crossroads very quickly. One path leads to another amazing experience, another Legion expansion, and everyone leaving Battle for Azeroth wishing we had just a little bit longer on Zandalar or Kul Tiras, or Najdatar, or wherever else we end up. The other path leads to another Warlords, where content gets cut left, right, and center, and the expansion ends up being abandoned to get us to the next one as quickly as possible. No more Najdatar, no more N'Zoth, just straight up into whatever comes next so we can try and forget about what we didn't like about BFA.
Because if all the confusion about Warfronts this week has proven anything, it's that all the new content unlocking this week has been slightly confusing for some players. Either because of bad communication on Blizzard's part, or just because there really was quite a lot of it.
I am very, very worried about class design in BFA. And the sad thing is, I know that it's not going to change, at least not until release. It is so sad to me to see the dumbing down of this game. And this is honestly the biggest negative for me going into Battle for Azeroth. I hope that I'm wrong and that Azerite gear magically fixes everything. But it won't. I want to end with this. Blizzard, I don't know who you think you were appealing to by taking out any modicum of complexity in class design. It makes hardcore players burn out and new players lose interest. Appealing to people that just want their class to be hit the shiny button isn't doing you any favors. It's only making people like me, who have been playing this game since the beginning, question whether or not they should even continue. Hey guys, Evo